Hey everyone, what's up? How are ya? Hope you're fine. My name is Anya. It's time for some creepy videos again, and this video is called Disturbing Mysteries Still Unsolved in 2022. Sounds good, so let's watch it. Oh, loud, loud, loud.
West Bengal, India has its fair share of allegedly haunted places, but perhaps none are as creepy or as intriguing as the Olia ghost lights. In the swampy marshes of West Bengal, there have been many sightings of these lights called Olia or jack-o'-lantern. They are described to be a flickering ball of light that emerges usually in the marshy regions of West Bengal and Bangladesh, and they've been attributed to being the cause of death of many fishermen. The fishermen community of the area have often spotted these unexplainable lights, and many believe that some of the fishermen were so transfixed after seeing the Olia light that they followed it and drowned. It's also believed by many in the area that these lights are the spirits of dead fishermen who lost their lives fishing in the marshes. These lights at times confuse the fishermen, causing them to fall in the water and drown, but also at other times, they may help guide them and prevent them from getting into danger. At least that's what locals believe. Olia ghost lights are not just limited to West Bengal though. They've been spotted in various places around the world, and these lights have long been associated with the paranormal or spirits. Some good spirits, some bad spirits. It's said that once you follow one of these lights, they'll flicker and diminish in size until they disappear, often causing people to panic and get lost. People have seen these lights all around the world in graveyards, swamps, and boglands, and they have been referred to as many different names. Anaya Carr from Siliguri was on the phone with her husband who was on a solo fishing trip, and when he had mentioned seeing a bright light glimmering across the marsh, he stopped replying, though the call didn't end right away. Anaya would keep saying her husband's name into the phone until it sounded like the phone was dropped, and then the call abruptly ended. Her husband was never seen again.
Oh, that's so sad. But I've heard of the phenomenon. We have a term for these lights in German too. Irrlichter. And I'm kind of regretting saying it because I'm not quite sure how to translate it. But it kind of means the ir comes from herumirren, I'm guessing in this case. Or maybe from crazy, because to be irre means to be crazy as well. But I've never checked out the etymology of the word, but I would say it comes from running around like crazy. No, that has nothing to do with it. Yeah, as I said, from the word herumirren, meaning that you kind of stumble around looking for your way, not knowing where to go, and that has been shortened into this short name, or just the name of these lights, that they make people follow them and run around stumbling through wherever, losing their way. I have no clue what to make of it. Maybe it's some kind of glowworm or firefly that hasn't been discovered yet. That's really large. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's definitely sad if people do get lost because of these lights and just disappear. I would have thought it's just some kind of myth or urban legend or something of the sort, but I don't really know anything about it. Never really looked into it, but I heard about it. Okay, enough talking.
In 2014, taxi drivers in Ibadan, Nigeria were starting to disappear, and while there was no outward evidence of any sort of foul play at first, people started to become suspicious when more and more people would disappear and mysterious-looking strangers would be lurking the area.
Oh, damn.
Police were notified of the disappearances, but reportedly were uncooperative, refusing to investigate further and saying that the men had likely just run off.
Great.
As the disappearances continued in the area, there was still no official response, until a motorcyclist riding down a highway claimed that he had heard some crying out for help from the forest. On March 22, 2014, police finally went about investigating the forest, where they would stumble across a literal house of horrors. There, tucked away in the trees, was a seemingly abandoned building from which emanated a vile stench. Upon entering the building, they were met with countless decomposed human corpses, most of which had been bound with chains. As the search of the place continued, police began turning up other human remains in the surrounding area, many of them having been butchered and missing limbs, some of them even still bound with chains. There were also numerous human remains found scattered in the surrounding woods, stuffed within bushes, in the nooks of trees, or dumped into holes in the ground or into caves. The corpses and remains were in various states of decomposition, many of them missing limbs or internal organs. In total, over 20 decomposed human bodies and hundreds of human skulls were found in the forest, and there was a separate building full of only personal belongings of the victims, including licenses, clothing, and even children's toys. 15 people were rescued who were chained up in captivity, all severely malnourished. When police interviewed them, in most cases they could not identify the people who had taken them, but they described that they had been kidnapped, tortured, and kept in shackles with once-a-week feedings. However, a few claimed that the men who kidnapped them had been government officials, or at least were posing as them. The answers as to what exactly happened here have not been made completely clear, and it's unknown who took these people or where they went. And while some arrests were made, no one has been officially charged with any of it.
Oh Jesus, that kind of shit is just terrifying and so horrible. I mean, with the organs missing, my best guess or my first guess would be, yeah, okay, there's some kind of illegal dealing with organs. You can make a lot of money with that, but limbs? I wouldn't know that you could I mean, you can transplant limbs, but it's not really done, is it? If you lose your own limb, they sew it back on, and if you're lucky, it grows back. But I've never heard of anyone getting other people's limbs. So what the fuck do they do with those? Some kind of crazy ass rituals, maybe? Oh no, I actually don't really want to know. But damn, that's that's really horrible. Jeez. Let's hope they catch.
On January 2nd, 2000, Zeb Wayne Quinn went missing in Asheville, North Carolina. Zeb was 18 years old and working at a local Walmart in the electronics section when he disappeared after finishing his shift. At around 9 p.m., he had plans to travel a moderate distance with his coworker Robert Jason Owens to buy a new car. Zeb met Robert in the Walmart parking lot before they drove separately to look at the vehicle. The two men were seen on surveillance footage at a nearby gas station at approximately 9:15 p.m. purchasing sodas at a convenience store. According to Robert, after leaving the gas station, Zeb signaled for him to pull over by flashing his headlights. Zeb told him that he had received a page and needed to return the call. After he returned from using a payphone, Robert described Zeb as frantic and nervous. Zeb told him that he needed to cancel their plans to view the car, and he eventually sped off, rear-ending Robert's truck in the process. Hours later, Robert was treated at a hospital for fractured ribs and a head injury that he claimed was due to a second car accident that same evening. No accident report was ever filed with police. The following afternoon, Zeb's mother Denise filed a missing persons report. 2 days after he was last seen, a man claiming to be Zeb placed a phone call to the Walmart where he worked. The man told Zeb's coworker that he would not be coming to work due to coming down with a fever, but the coworker recognized that the voice was not Zeb's. The phone call was placed back to a Volvo plant where Robert worked. When questioned, Robert admitted to making the phone call, claiming that he was doing Zeb a favor after he called and asked Robert to call in sick for him. During police investigations, a woman named Misty Taylor was interviewed, as she and Zeb had become romantically involved in the weeks prior to his disappearance, and he had told friends and family that he had been threatened by her abusive boyfriend Wesley Smith after he discovered that the two of them had been speaking. On January 6, 2000, Zeb's mom received a phone call from a former classmate of her son, who happened to be a coworker at the Asheville hospital where both were nurses, who told her that she had seen his car in the parking lot of a barbecue restaurant next to the hospital. Police examined the car, which had been left with its headlights on, but there was also a pair of lips and an exclamation mark drawn on the car's back windshield in lipstick, and a live puppy was found inside. A plastic hotel keycard was also discovered in the vehicle, but police couldn't find the source hotel. There was also a jacket that didn't belong to Zeb in the car. Police collected forensic evidence from the car, but uncovered no new leads. Zeb's mother believes that the car was placed there by somebody that knew that his family worked and lived nearby, intending that one of them would find it. A couple later called police to report that they had seen Zeb's car being driven in downtown Asheville before it was parked at the restaurant, and assisted police in producing a composite image of the person driving the car. Police later noted that the sketch looked identical to Misty Taylor. Robert Jason Owens was arrested in 2017 for the murder of Zeb. However, in his plea agreement in July of 2022, just last month, Robert's story went that his uncle Gene, who died in 2017, knew Misty Taylor's aggressive boyfriend and was asked to do something to keep Zeb away from her, and Robert said his uncle's remedy was murder, though he said that he played no part and only witnessed it. The judge accepted Robert's plea and sentenced him to 150 to 189 months in prison, which will be served concurrent to a 60 to 75-year sentence he's currently serving for the murder of a couple in 2015, which is an entirely different story of its own.
What the?
Regarding Zeb's murder, no one can really know for sure what actually happened. On July 13th, 2011, Rebecca Zahau was...
Okay, wait, that's the news story. I'm always amazed at the sentences people in America get, like 60 to 70 years. Wow. And I'm not saying it's wrong that some people get a really long sentence if they committed a really, really cruel crime and killed a person or many people. Because in Germany it's like, oh, you killed someone, who cares? Run free. Or maybe you get, well, yeah, it always depends. I don't want to go in detail because I always get really, really angry. Because as I said very often before, crimes involving children are like, ugh, it was just a child, you know. You'll get 2 years on probation. Who cares if you raped it and did very despicable things to it? Or, oh, you murdered someone. Okay, well, it was an extremely bad case. Here, you get 5 years, you know, like, what the fuck? And then in America, sometimes it's, if one person gets killed, or maybe 2 or 3, and then they get 120 years, shit like that, it's like, wow. You know, that's also so extreme. I mean, who lives that long? Even 60, 70 years is extremely long, and that person will probably never get out alive anymore. So wouldn't 30 have been enough? And then send the other 30 over here to Germany so we can imprison some pedophile piece of shit. But yeah, messed up.
Found hanging at the Spreckles mansion in Coronado.
Wait.
For sure what actually happened. On July 13th, 2011, Rebecca Zahau was found hanging at the Spreckles mansion in Coronado, California, and she was pronounced dead by first responders called to the residence. Rebecca's body was found nude, bound, and gagged. Her death occurred 2 days after 6-year-old Max Shackney, the son of her boyfriend Jonah Shackney, had fallen from the staircase of the mansion and was held in a hospital in critical condition. Rebecca and her younger sister Zena were the only people present at the time of Max's fall. On July 16th, 2011, Max succumbed to his injuries and died in the hospital. Rebecca's death was ruled a suicide, but her sisters don't buy it. And
who hangs themselves naked and gagged?
Have long pressed their point, waging battles both with authorities and possible suspects. On July 12th, 2011, Rebecca dropped off Zena at the airport for her flight back to Missouri, and then picked up Jonah's brother Adam, who had just arrived on a flight from Memphis, Tennessee. Rebecca, Jonah, and Adam ate dinner with a friend named Howard that evening. Afterwards, Rebecca and Adam returned to the Spreckles mansion, while Jonah held a vigil for Max with the child's mother, Dina Romano. There were reports of loud music coming from the Spreckles mansion later that night. On the morning of July 13th at around 6:45 a.m., Adam stated that he found Rebecca's nude body hanging from a balcony, with her wrists and ankles bound and her hands behind her back.
Yeah, who hangs
He called 911 at 6:48
like
a.m., then sent a text message to his brother to inform him of the news. He cut down her body before the police arrived. Medics attempted to revive her, but it was already far too late. Police performed an autopsy to determine the cause of death, and from the start, speculations of foul play had arisen, but investigators were unable to find any other DNA at the scene besides Rebecca's. The San Diego Sheriff's Department formally announced their finding that Rebecca had committed suicide, but her family wasn't happy about that.
How do you commit suicide? First of all, how do you bind yourself and bind your wrists behind your back and gag yourself and hang yourself? How is that supposed to work? I mean, okay, she could have thrown herself over the balcony, but still, how do you bind your hands behind your back by yourself? It does.
They were firm on their belief that she did not commit suicide. Family and friends looked at Adam Shackney, Jonah's brother, as a prime suspect, as he was alone in the house with Rebecca during her hanging, and it could have been a revenge killing for the accidental death of his nephew while he was under Rebecca's watch. For 7 years, Rebecca's sisters had to fight to make it known she didn't commit suicide, and eventually it paid off. In 2018, a jury in San Diego found Adam Shackney responsible for the hanging death of Rebecca after a month-long civil trial. Rebecca's family was awarded more than $5 million for loss of companionship. The 12-member jury found Shackney responsible for her death in a 9-3 vote. The majority agreed Adam touched Rebecca with intent to harm her before her death, and the touching caused her death. The court never awarded any punitive damages. Because this was a civil trial, Adam didn't face any criminal charges and cannot be sentenced to prison. Regardless of the civil suit, the findings by police allegedly pointed at Jonah and Adam being innocent and Rebecca's death being a suicide. But the biggest flaw in that would be the way in which Rebecca's body was found hanging, bound and gagged. It's not something somebody would do to themselves. Still, what really happened may never be known for sure.
Jeez, that's so messed up. That poor family. I mean, so much drama and death and oh God. Well, I had to watch it. It said disturbing mysteries, but I thought, that the still unsolved in 2022 made me think that it was some, I don't know, really old shit, maybe from 100 years ago or whatnot. God, but it was so, it was sad. I can't even imagine how it must feel to lose someone and never know what happened to that person. How is that person dead? Presumably, but how did that person die and whatnot? Or that person turns up dead, or what happened? Who killed him? Or what? Oh God, no. Life is so hard, as I always say, or it can be hard. Let's not. Life can be friggin' hard. And then these kind of things, so much shit comes additionally that makes it even harder, and it just always it triggers my own pain. I mean, we all go through so many different things in life, but pain is pain. Everyone feels pain, and it just makes me sad and angry too often. And well, but that's life, eh? We gotta all learn to deal with it, as hard as it is. Yeah, well, I had to watch it. My own fault. Kind of pulled down my mood here. Not that it was really great from the get-go, but oh well. Yeah, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you don't feel as shitty as I do. Have a great day or a great night, and see you in the next video. Bye.